You are now listening to the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast featuring D'Angelo Williams and Gary Barnage. You push play and they'll push the limits.
Hey, it's your boy Tom here, and we are back with another episode of the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast. And will everyone just take a second to acknowledge Gary's delicious flowing locks right there, boy. Golly.
Oh my gosh. Come on, man. Come on. I can't wait till he cut it because he's throwing off like I know, he's throwing off how can I say it? What is his name? What character did Nicolas Cage play?
He's played a lot of characters.
Right.
He has played a lot of characters.
I guess because you can't mean National Treasure because he didn't have long hair in that. So
nah, he didn't. I'm talking about
You're thinking of John
did he have
Keanu Reeves.
No. He is giving off John Wick vibes, but it was a Nicolas Cage movie. Was it his skull what was it when he would catch her on fire and she was like his hair was like all like woo,
Ghost Rider?
Was his hair long in Ghost Rider?
Nope.
Was his hair long in Ghost Rider?
It was not.
I don't know why I see his hair long in Ghost Rider.
Con Air.
Yeah.
Con Air, yes. You can give me Con Air because that was long hair for sure.
Yeah, you're thinking of Con Air.
Thanks for the save, Tom. Thanks for the damn save.
I got you. And speaking of save, I just got to let y'all know we had so many people write into the podcast that said they are very mad at us for how little Mortal Kombat story knowledge that we have.
Well, I think the thing is, we're not going to have it. Like, we didn't read the comics. We played the video games. They don't give you story with the video game, especially the original video games.
Right. Well, I guess
how they gonna give us a hard time on it? Like, what is? Did they tell you the storyline? I didn't even care enough to even go find out what the storyline was.
Right. I guess it's the same as like when somebody's a big Marvel fan and they go to the movie and somebody's already read the comics. It's just you got to take your time to read the backstory if that's something that interests you. But it's I feel like Mortal Kombat's a little bit different. It's not quite as big as Marvel and DC and all that fun stuff. So we'll give us a pass. What's your shirt say, D'Angelo? Chicks dig the what?
Chicks dig my ride.
Oh, nice.
I tried to step my t-shirt game up since Gary wear all the cool t-shirts and stuff, and he has a Duff shirt on from The Simpsons. Yeah. But I mean, obviously my shirt's better than his, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
You don't want to get into a shirt
Gary, on what you did.
You do not want to get into a shirt.
Today I won the shirt competition. I'm saying, Gary, he want to know what we did this
Hold on,
weekend,
you know
Gary.
what? I think we stumbled upon something. I think that every week moving forward, we need to have a shirt war. And
I like it.
And
I can't hang with him
because I know I'm going to win
this one. Yeah, he's gonna win it because I don't have shirts like
all
that.
I'm gonna say is
he has some pretty cool epic.
Y'all just better be glad I can't be in it.
Yeah, that's what. I know. Now that would be a war.
No, you can. You just gotta be like the neighbor from Home Improvement. You just gotta cover your face.
Yeah.
You just have the lower half showing, not the top half.
There you go. I like it.
100%. Now it will be a great battle between you and Tom, Gary. And I don't think you'll win that one for sure, Gary, because
I still think I got him beat because his are all the same style. Mine's all over the place because mine's all movie references, old TV show references. His are not like that.
Well, the ones that I like to wear all the time are different. Well, it's okay. We'll bring it back, D'Angelo.
Just to clarify, he always wears, and he's worn this shirt with us at least 6 different times. He loves the Will Smith Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh yeah, that's
like his
go-to. That's a go-to. That's a staple.
Look, he's trying to unload ammo out of my clip over here. But don't worry, I wasn't even gonna bring that one just because I know y'all expected it. I know y'all expected it. I ain't worried about it.
Why do we still get that damn shirt?
We'll still get it. I'll be his first one he wears.
Don't be rude. Like your Ravish and Rick Rude t-shirt that you like to wear. And All these nice Jason
Oh, he
shirts.
cheddar bobbing you right now. He cheddar bobbing you.
Hey,
Cheddar
he can name all
Bob.
17 shirts, and I still will have 40 more he's never seen.
Oh, this is gonna be
Hey,
good,
but you know
guys.
why, D'Angelo?
Y'all
That's because
stick
he's
around.
rich.
No, that's because all my shirts cost
Yeah,
like $5.
You
A
know
lot of
you're-
mine
You
come from
said
Walmart
500?
too.
You said 500? Okay.
No.
What you do this weekend,
Hey, let's
Gary? They
jump
want to know
into
what you did this week.
Oh, sorry, I
Damn.
forgot we had a podcast to do. So we actually had our first scrimmage because I'm helping coach at my old high school this year. So we had our first scrimmage.
Gary, what kind of coach are you, bro? I
I'm
gotta
actually
ask this
this
question.
year.
It's been bothering me. I know you as a player, and you are a shitty motivator, bro. Shitty motivator. You don't stretch. You drink sodas. Like, what kind of coach are you, Gary? Can you please tell not from your perspective, from what the kids tell you, like, oh, he cool, or like he a dick, other kids that tell you to other kids how they feel about you. Like, what's been the consensus around the locker room?
I would say I would be a coach that you can come and talk to and tell, and I'm not going to jump down your throat right away. But I am a guy who's going to make you run afterwards for conditioning because I do believe because like for our team we
So
don't
you
have
like
enough
all
kids.
coaches. You just like all coaches. Okay, got it. Makes sense.
No,
You
not
just like
all
all
of them.
coaches.
No,
Yeah,
no.
they all let you come talk to him, and
Well,
you tell them what
I'm
the
not a
problem
yell.
is, and
I
they
don't
either
yell.
punish you immediately or later on. You
No,
didn't
no,
say
mine's
like,
not punishment. Mine's not punishment for running. I just because we don't have enough guys to play, just enough all guys on offense, all guys on defense, so we have to always play both ways. So I just always have them run a little extra conditioning at the end, just so they're always ready. So I don't burn them out. I don't make them run 15 110s or anything. I try to incorporate like a competition. Like last year, I incorporated it was basically to the goal line and back, but one person got a head start. If you tagged him, you're done. But the person still got to finish. So you make it like a competition, but while they're still
ooh,
running.
catch that rabbit.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, so like stuff like that. I try to integrate fun aspects into it and just different because it's stuff that I would enjoy when I was a player. I would love like we did this in Carolina. Our conditioning sometimes instead of doing conditioning, we played ultimate frisbee. That is an amazing conditioning thing because you're
Yeah, I would
always
rather
running
condition.
and it's fun.
Yeah,
So like
yeah, I
stuff
would
like
have just
that.
rather condition.
See, I like that because it's like the fun game aspect. But I'm not a yeller. I'm not a big yell guy. I'll correct it and get it going because that's just not my demeanor. I'm not one who yells even on the field. I don't really talk on the field when I was playing. I'm not like a rah rah guy. I'm just more. I'm gonna go out there and do my job, and that's what I did.
Right.
I wasn't one of the
So
guys that jumped out of the smoke and did like a yell into the sky or anything like that or anything.
Wow.
Those kind of people.
wow. Okay. I had to ask, man. I mean, because I mean, you taking over a team, and what position coach are you
So now I'm
for
doing
your
tight ends and fullbacks.
tight ends and fullbacks?
Correct.
Okay, so he's the tight ends and fullbacks coach, ladies and gentlemen. Not only is I'm impressed. I'm not gonna say I'm proud of him just yet. I'm impressed because he's really been taking this season serious, considering they didn't win a damn game last year. Like not one damn game. Like not like didn't even sniff a damn win in his dedication to these kids. Like, and it's probably not his fault. He's probably that coach that said, it's not my fault, it's these damn kids. They terrible, but as a coach, I got to keep showing up and proving to them that we can win a game. That's it. That's the floor. Not winning one game. He's serious about it. He hadn't missed a day. I'll call him. He's like, hey man, I'm at practice. I'm about to call you back. So he's taking this serious. I just hope that him taking it serious equals some more damn wins this year.
And
Because y'all
like
were
you,
shitty last year, bro.
well, and like you said, I coached for the kids. It's not for anything else. I'm not doing it for me or anything. I'm doing it to help the kids. I helped them last year, and most of the kids are back, so I want to help them again. And I'm trying to convey what we did when I was playing because my sophomore year we were 2-8. We won 2 games. Then my junior year we went 5-5, and then we went 8-2. So like it's a process, and we had all young kids on the team. I think we had 4 seniors total. So everybody's coming back so they can just improve. And I think that's the biggest thing is just showing that they can improve and just getting that from the kids.
Gary, Improve. You fuckers didn't win the game last year. What do you
Exactly. So
mean?
they can improve.
Improving is winning one game.
And that's an improvement.
I love your
Hey,
commitment.
he's setting the bar realistic out here. Nothing wrong with that.
Is that all you did, Gary?
Yeah, that's my weekend. And then obviously Mother's Day, we had Mother's Day. So I brought my mom a little wind chime that's hummingbirds because that was something that my mom and my grandmother were really big in was the hummingbird. So I bought like a little wind chime that lights up and is solar powered that she can hang outside for her house and everything. That's hummingbird. So it reminds of our grandmother and then her mom. So that's what I hung out with her for a little bit and that's about it.
Okay. So that's gonna push me right into what I did this weekend. And it kind of pertains to Mother's Day. Took the wife to her favorite Mexican spot for Mother's Day. Place was completely packed with everybody taking their mothers and stuff out. And she brought her mother, right? And we had dinner. And it led me to this question because you basically kind of answered it when you was talking about what you were saying. Like, who is Mother's Day for? Is it a day for you to celebrate your mother, or is it a day for you to celebrate all mothers? Because you said, I did this for my mother, and she did this for her mother, as if it's not your grandmother.
Correct.
So she's still a mother, but it's like you omitted her from the plans because she wasn't like your actual mother. So the question is who do you celebrate on Mother's Day if you celebrate at all?
I think you celebrate your mother, and then you can tie in, I guess, your wife because she's the mother of your kids if you have kids.
But
So
she's
that's
not
where
my
it can be
mother,
tied
though.
in.
Would you do
No,
your
I agree.
girlfriend if she had a kid? If your girlfriend had a kid, would you
Well,
celebrate
no,
her on Mother's Day?
so I think the way you celebrate Mother's Day for them is you do something with the kids and them, so they're celebrating Mother's Day with their mom. You're not really celebrating for her. You're celebrating for the kids to celebrate it with their mother. You're not really celebrating it with your wife for that. It's just like a wife wouldn't do for the husband if it was Father's Day unless you have the kids involved. I think that's when you tie in. Well, now it's a celebration of Mother's Day for the wife because the kids are involved. But if the kids are involved, I think it's just for your mother because that's what it's for Mother's Day. I know some people do it for all mothers, but I would say you're doing your mother comes first, and then everything else works from there.
What you
Yeah.
got, Tom?
Yeah, I think you definitely always got to celebrate your own mom, because no matter what, that's still your mom. But as you go along, obviously you're going to have it, grow into the role of the father that celebrate, like kind of like Gary said, celebrating the Mother's Day for the kids with the mom, because whenever the babies are little or they're young, they can't really do as much, and so this kind of like your role to help them celebrate until they get maybe a little bit older, and then they can do it. But I think even then, once you get past the age of where the kids are able to celebrate themselves, I think there's still part of you that wants to celebrate your significant other for being the mother of your children, because that's still been a huge role in your life that they feel. So even though they didn't raise you and they're not technically your mother, they did raise your kids, and you want to show appreciation on that side of the ball. What do you think?
Well, and I think that's where it ties into, as long as you bring the kids out and then you all celebrate Mother's Day for your wife, because now the kids are truly doing it and you're doing it with them. I don't think you just go do it with your wife and leave your kids at home and celebrate Mother's Day. That's not the way to do it.
This is an interesting question. You don't have kids, but your
Correct.
girlfriend or wife does. Do you celebrate them?
I think as long as the kids are involved, yes.
I'm talking about based on time, based on what time just said, because he made it seem like they're raising your kids. So if you a stepfather or a stepmother or whatever you prefer, and your wife and or girlfriend has kids, do you celebrate them, Tom? Because technically they're not raising your kids, bro.
True.
So based on your it's situational.
I think in that case, if you're a boyfriend of a woman that has a child, in that case, you're celebrating them for the fact of that they're a mother still. That's still part of their life, their role, and so you would still celebrate that with them.
Okay. All right.
What's your feelings?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's hear yours.
So I see it both ways, and this is why I see it both ways because, like, obviously my mother's not here, and Mother's Day has always been special for me because she raised me, and not everybody that says hey that has a kid is a great mother. Not everybody that has a kid should, in my opinion, Mother's Day are for those mothers out there that are doing a great job at being a mother. Like if you had a kid and you don't want to take care of this kid and you give this kid off, or you technically you still had a kid, you still a mother. Technically, I think it's the duties that come with having a kid that I think that if you don't know for a fact, like if I'm coming up on a mom and a dad and they got two or three kids, I'm not gonna be so quick to say, hey, happy Mother's Day. I don't know what them kids going through. It could be pure hell for them. So me wishing them a happy Mother's Day is giving her credit for a job that she may be doing all the way wrong. So it's hard for me because I know what my mother did for me.
This man said she might have been doing the job all the way wrong.
Right. You see what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
you validate something that like
It's like a
happy Mother's Day.
participation trophy out here.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So that's why. See you over there laughing. I'm being dead serious, bro. I don't think y'all think about these things, but that's why I'm be hesitant on wishing people a happy Mother's Day because that onus is on the kids. If you poll the kids and they be like, oh yeah, my mom's doing a great job, we happy, then that's one thing. But you don't have that opportunity to poll them. So that's why I don't throw the quick happy Mother's Days out there. I just know how my mother treated me and how her mother treated her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't do anything for my grandmother. Obviously, I wasn't old enough to do anything for her. But like thinking now, like that onus would be on my mom. And if my mom wasn't here, then I would do something for my grandmother to kind of take that place to kind of soften that burden a little bit. But yeah, I'm kind of all over the place as it relates to like Mother's Day and how I think about it. But just throwing it out there just for like random people that I don't know and don't know the situation of their kids, I don't wish them a happy Mother's Day because they could be going through pure hell.
So I want you to keep that same energy when Father's Day comes and people don't wish you happy Father's Day because they don't know your situation.
I'm cool with that. I don't expect you to think that I'm a great father because based on what you said, Gary, you are a horrible father. And if anybody say anything to you about happy Father's Day, that lets me know that they participate in the absentee father that don't want to do anything for their damn kids. That's what it lets me know. And you're parenting all wrong, Gary. That's all I'm saying.
I'm doing a good job of parenting. I'm having you help raise my kids.
Oh, stop it. So after that, we had the Mother's Day dinner. Well, before that, my wife and her mom, they went and they put out this raised garden in the backyard in the garden area where my wife used to
hold on real quick D. So that was the Mother's Day, right? I got one more thing about Mother's Day and then I'll let you go to the next story.
Okay.
Because I know this is something that a lot of people try and claim. Like, are you considered a Mother's Day or Father's Day if you have a pet or anything? If you don't have kids, if you have a pet or anything? Because some people want to be still considered mothers, fathers, or whatever if they have a pet. And I don't agree with you saying Mother's Day to anybody like that because that pet's not. If that pet talks to me and says Happy Mother's Day, I'm good with it. I'll say it. Till then, probably not.
I'm going to tell you something that's probably going to really piss you off. I don't necessarily think people that adopted kids should get the moniker of Happy Mother's Day.
See, I disagree. The only reason why I disagree because
I'm telling you,
your whole statement was it's based on how you're raising them and how you're doing the motherly duties. If they're doing the motherly duties, then they deserve their Mother's Day.
You're going to fight me with what I said.
That's a fact. Okay. You said that. Okay. So I'm just saying in that retrospect, because some people that adopt, they can't, they're not fortunate enough to have a kid. So they can only do adopt. So as long as they're doing my motherly duties.
Right.
Right. You just changed my mind. I don't even have to go into that. But I'm going to tell you before I went into that, the only reason why I was thinking like that is because you would think the first criteria of a Mother's Day would be you would actually have to conceive this baby. But I didn't say that. So you're absolutely right, Gary, on fulfilling the motherly duties. So yeah, if you've adopted a kid, you are now a mother of all types. But when it comes to animals, hell no, you get no love from me.
Right. No,
I'm not calling to wish you a happy Mother's Day or a happy Father's Day or a happy sibling day. Like, no, y'all taking that shit way too far. Okay, way too far.
and I know people love their animals, but I think that, some of these people that say, dog moms are moms too or whatever, I think they will
I'm pretty
realize.
sure, Tom, you're the only one that says dog
Oh
moms
no,
are
no,
too.
I've never said that, but I see it posted a lot on social media.
No,
Or people talking about how dogs are children too, or whatever. So it's like,
no.
I think that they'll say that up until they have a kid and realize how much different a child is versus a puppy. I mean, I understand
And
all the love you have for your puppy, but it's a whole new world.
and that's the thing though, Tom. All the people that are like, hey, me having a fur baby means I'm a parent. They don't have kids. So they don't understand what it feels like to have kids. And that's why they feel the way that they feel about the animal that they have. And then
Right.
after they do have kids, they find out like that animal that they was praising so much before they had kids falls second or third or fourth to that kid because now you're really having to take care of somebody else that solely depends on you. There's no training after, with a dog or with a cat, 6 months to a year, they're completely trained. Now, with a kid, this shit's a lifetime. You just made a lifetime commitment because things are ever changing and situations are too.
I agree.
Right. And
Sorry.
they're a lot more expensive.
True. I didn't mean to interrupt you, D.
Yes.
I just wanted to get to that topic because I know that was something that people still try to do nowadays. So I wanted to get our opinions on that.
Okay. So the second part is my mom and my mother-in-law and my wife, they built a garden. They built a raised garden because mom, she always like, hey, we need to get a garden. We need to get a garden. I'm like, okay, cool. We did this before and things didn't work out. We started having all these kids and then the garden came up. We had animals. It was a lot going on and the garden didn't make it. The dogs and the kids made it, but the garden didn't. So now we're doing this garden thing over again, and now I got to figure out a way to keep these rabbits and other rodents out of this garden. So I'm a build a fence, and I've been sitting outside looking at this garden and trying to figure out like, man, how am I gonna build this fence? And I'm really good with my hands. I don't know if y'all saw The Amazing Race, but I was in and out with the cello. I was in and out with all the things.
Well, I mean,
Minus the
had
tile.
to build.
Minus the tile.
And I've seen you
Gary.
and I've seen you in the NFL with your fumbling problems, so I don't know how good you are with those hands, but I digress.
Sorry, I
Y'all
thought
are
we
some
were still in
haters.
the
Y'all are
roast
some
episode.
lifetime
I'm sorry.
haters. Y'all some lifetime haters, man. I'm a natural winner, man. So now I've kind of gotten an idea on what I'm gonna build and how I'm gonna build around this garden. But this is what it came to me, and I don't know if y'all have ever seen this or if y'all ever heard of this. But like as we're out there and like her mom's like working with the kids and like she's talking and my mom's real like really calm with the kids, really patient as hell. And my wife kept saying, stuff to the effect like when we were kids, blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, damn. And it prompted me to think about this. If this is even possible, can you be a horrible mom or dad, but be a great grandfather or grandmother?
Yes.
Like, is that even possible?
Yes.
Oh,
Well,
for
you
sure.
talk about it.
Because
Oh,
because
that's
you can give the grandkids back.
Correct. And you can spoil them all day and you don't have to worry about disciplining them. You don't have to do any of that. That's the parents' job now. I don't have to do that. So you can let them get away with whatever they want and then put it on the parents to do it. Now you're the great grandparent and they love you. They always want to be around you. They don't want to be around their parents because of that.
Bro, that's a shitty situation
That's
to
how
be
it
in.
works.
For you to not really like your mom or dad and your kids fucking love them, bro, because they're different. And like all of a sudden, so and it's funny because I talk about my wife's mom all the time. Like I love her to death. And she always combated with, oh, you don't know how it was when we was kids. And she make it seem like her mom was just like this like dominant force. And I'm like, look, not a lady like this because she is a very nice lady. She was like, you ain't see her when she was young, when she was my mama. And I'm not saying that she was a terrible mom. I'm just saying like her grandkids, no wrong. I see her and I'm just like, dang, like stuff, why to like hit the roof or flip the table or burned up a couch or something that they didn't did. And she just like, oh no, it's okay. And I'm like, what? It amazes me how grandmother duties or grandfather duties would seem to be a lot easier than parenting duties. And if there was even a correlation between being a horrible parent but a great grandmother or grandfather. That's crazy.
Well, like Time said, they can just give the kids back. That's the thing is like, hey, I'm tired. I need my break. Here's my day and a half. Here you go. Take them back. They're full of sugar. They've done this. Have fun.
Yeah. That's
it's
insane.
it's a little bit less of a. I mean, you know, obviously there are some grandparents that do play a more significant role if they're, you know, close. They live close and they can watch the kids more often. But you know, for the most part, it's kind of like going to see a celebrity because you're not there necessarily enough to where you annoy them to where then you're like getting on to you. So it's almost like Instagram. You get to see the highlights of grandma and grandpa because you're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not around them that often.
Yeah.
So you get the highlights. So all you see is the best of grandma and grandpa, and then they get to give you back, and then your parents have to deal with your ass. That's exactly
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And I'm gonna tell you what else I did this weekend. This will be the last thing, and I may get real upset when I talk about this. Yeah, Gary, I'm pretty fucking sure you probably did this, and Tom, I'm pretty sure you've done this. When you see cyclists out on the street cycling, getting better, getting healthy, trying to get a workout in because they love cycling. I'm a cyclist. I love cycling. Okay. There's certain precautions that we take as riders. We try to ride in a group because when we ride solo, that's normally when cyclists get hurt or get hit by cars is when they ride solo. Oh, I didn't see you. Well, they saw you and they tried to buzz you or and didn't know and got way too close and end up clipping you, and then you're hurt. They kept going because they don't want to stop. When you see cyclists out there, just give them just like you would pass a car, pass the cyclist the same way. We're in a group because there's strength in numbers, okay? And there's a lot of things out there that's very detrimental to our health. I'm gonna give you something that's detrimental to cyclist health versus anything else, okay? That's really minor for you when you're in the car. You don't even think about it when you're in the car. This is something you don't think about. Things that will kill a cyclist that will not kill somebody in the car. A squirrel. A squirrel will absolutely crush a cyclist. Okay, I'm not gonna stop there. A rabbit will absolutely crush a cyclist. A deer, a dog, absolutely crush a cyclist. I'm gonna tell you the number one thing that takes cyclists out, outside of potholes, that there's one animal that I'm gonna see if y'all can guess that take out more cyclists than any other animal out there. What do you think it is?
Snail.
I'm gonna say a bee.
What do you think?
A bee.
No.
I say a snail because knowing you as a cyclist, you're not very athletic. So you see a snail, you hit it, you fall. So
the number one thing that takes cyclists out more than anything else,
exhaust.
Turtles.
Turtle.
Bro. Yes. We on them skinny ass tires, them turtles when they going across the road, because you see a lot of them smashed. So if somebody doesn't call a turtle out and they move, bro, a turtle is the worst thing ever on them skinny. When you hit them, it's like a speed bump going 90 miles an hour. Bro.
Well, first of all, they move so slow.
Bro, when you in a group ride, and if somebody don't call that turtle out, bro, it's worse than Mario Kart. When it comes, it's awful, bro.
So my question is, if you're at the front and you call out turtle and you got 60 people behind you, how are they supposed to avoid that?
Hey, we're gonna have to figure it out. We're gonna have to figure, especially if the person in front ain't paying attention. You that's why when you come up to the front, you want to make sure you call all the hoes out. You call out all the animals that are in front of you. If you see one deer run across the whole group,
you gotta call out all the hoes.
Oh, the
hoes. I thought you said call out the hoes.
You call those out. I just want people to understand what we're going through as cyclists, because I don't think they necessarily see our side. Sometimes I don't think they even give a damn about seeing our side. We just out here trying to get healthy. We're just trying to stay fit. And not only are we trying to stay healthy and stay fit, but we're trying to stay safe too. So when you see us riding too, and you just like get over, go in one line, that's not safe for us. You're supposed to give us 4 feet of passing room. So what we do, we have to take it. So when we're in 2 lanes, well, I mean not in 2 lanes, but when we have 2 pace lines, and you see us double deep, and you just like, dang, if they was in 1, I can get by. Yeah, that's okay for you, but that's not safe for us. So just give us a little room. Just think about the cyclists out there, because it could be me, it could be your mom, it could be your dad, it could be your cousin, a distant relative. Just keep us in mind as cyclists, because we dealing with all these other animals, these pie holes and stuff like that, and these loose dogs that ain't no leashes. I'm gonna tell you something that us cyclists do that y'all may not understand that we do. You know that pie hole that you've been hitting in your damn car every morning or every night, and then you just like, whoa, you show up and that mug finally fixed? It's because some cyclists got tired of hitting it, and they called in and was like, hey man, you got a pothole right here, and they gonna keep following up because we want that pothole fixed. So technically we the pothole fixers in your community. So let us do our work. Keep us safe. Keep us safe. Like those bees that pollinate, and you just like, oh, I can't stand this pollen. That's us. We get the potholes fixed. We get that shit done for your community, for our community. So keep us safe.
Time. I love how he said he is a cyclist. We need to put that in air quotes.
Right.
Because he got called out for always skipping his cycling, not wanting to do the long rides. I'm just saying, I don't know when the last time he went cycling. It might have been 6 months ago, for all we know. But he's a cyclist.
Oh wow!
Right.
Here we go.
That's like telling somebody you go to church. The only time you go is Easter and Christmas. Oh yeah, I go to church.
Hey, that's pretty much the same.
That's what I'm saying. It's the same as you're cycling. If you're a cyclist,
I hate y'all.
Hey, D, we're proud of you. It takes a lot for someone to pick up something new that they're not good at and continue to do it. Even though they're terrible.
First of all, whoa, easy. Because I was able to come up with something that I thought was very entertaining, that I thought about this weekend, and all I could think about time was you. That's all I could think about time was you when this topic came into my head. So when I went on the bike ride, on Saturday, and I came home. We did 62 miles with like over 3,000 feet of elevation climb. And I came in and I was like, whoo, my legs are beat. And my wife always said, you go on these group rides and you come in here tired. Like you would think that, you would go on a ride that's kind of like cruising, and you're not hurting yourself, and it's just like therapeutic and relaxing. And I'm like, nah, that ain't what these kind of rides. She was like, y'all be competing. I said, look, I'm gonna tell you what it's like. Riding bikes in a group is very similar to playing pickup basketball at the Y. And this is what I thought about you, Tom. I said to a certain extent, this is why. When you play pickup basketball, I still don't understand this, how things get super serious. Like, it's not like anybody going to the NBA. It's not like anybody got D1 scholarships. It's like a collection of guys
It is.
that came in to work out. And and this is the one that get me. When you foul somebody, they was like, hey man, stop fouling. I'm like, bro, that's part of the game. Like, I can understand if it wasn't part of the game, but like, y'all argue about stupid stuff in the rec, and I'm like, nobody's going anywhere. Like, this is supposed to be therapeutic. When you go into the gym and you work out, this is supposed to be a workout. I don't understand why, like, people keep their stats. Like, I be hearing people saying, yeah, man, I went 12 or 13 yesterday, man, for the field. I'm like, what? Man, they had their girlfriends and stuff come watch them. I'm like, bro, this is rec basketball.
Right.
This is rec basketball.
Not
But that's what
rec,
it is.
Pickup and rec are two different things.
Bro, it's pickup, bro. Pickup basketball. Like, we just came in and say, I want you, and you. Y'all put a team together, and you keep your stats. That's crazy to me, bro. And this is what I think is funny, bro. This goes back to LeBron James, and this new era of basketball players, because I set your ass up and you ain't even know it. This goes back to this new era of basketball games. Bro, the NBA play 82 basketball games, bro. And he talking about load management. The people that play pickup basketball, them some bitches play 365, bro. They know all their stats. You mean to tell me load management in 82 games time? Tell me something, bro. You mean LeBron James need to sit down because of his age, and I got this 42-year-old that come to the gym every day, bro, and ball for 365 days for free? And you gonna have the nerve to tell me that LeBron James is the GOAT? Get hell out of here.
Well, first of all, LeBron's not the
Get
king.
out of here, bro.
LeBron's not the king of load management.
Basketball games, bro.
That's your boy Kawhi. That's your boy Kawhi, the king of load management. But my question to you is, and I already know what you're gonna say, is pickup basketball even on the same planet as what professional basketball is? Because you've said college football is a lot harder. You're so crazy. College football is not even close.
It depends. NFL football. So pickup basketball depends on where you're playing. If you're playing at Rucker Park, yes, it can be on par at times with NBA because it's a lot more physical and there's actually defense at Rucker Park versus we're just going to shoot the ball every time. And they're only playing to like 11. So they're playing full bore for that 11 points. They're not trying to score 170 points.
But it's completely different playing pickup ball where I can casually jog up the court if I want to, whereas I ain't got to worry about a coach about to pull me out. It's not structured. I'm not going up against elite athletes in the NBA. It is completely different. Yes,
bro, I went to an NBA regular season basketball game, bro, when Yao Ming was playing, and this is what turned me off. Bro, they jogged up and down the court, and Shaq even said it best. He was like, man, I don't play till playoff time. Like, that's when it gets serious for me. I only play one playoff. And I'm like, what? We got 16 games in the NFL, 17 now, and we got to play each and every one of them just as hard as we played the other one because we don't know how many it's going to take for us to get into the playoffs. Whereas you can 82 games, you kind of got a sense of where you're going to play. And not everybody play hard day in and day out. And the ones that do play hard stay injured. I mean, you look at Russ, you look at dang, his name just skipped out. Derrick Rose. You look at these guys that play hard. You did not just
say Derrick Rose. Golly.
Derrick Rose was the rookie of the year. He was the MVP. Right. He was the MVP of the entire league.
Right, but where he was.
So I mean, I'm saying when he was playing that style of basketball, he was hurt. He kept staying hurt. That's why he hadn't been able to match what he did when he won the rookie of the year and the MVP. Is because you can't play that hard for 82 games day in and day out because you're not that athlete that's built like that Rucker Park athlete that played 365 days a year.
So this brings up a good point, though, and I want to hear Time's response first, because obviously everybody's talking, like I've seen a lot of people talking about it recently. What's harder to win, an NFL championship or an NBA championship? We're talking about NBA, so you're talking about the seasons in 16 games. Well, now it's going to be 17, and then you have your 82 in basketball. So, Time, you start us off and let us know, what do you think is harder to win, an NBA championship or an NFL championship, and why?
To me, there's two ways to look at this. In general, I think it's harder to win a NFL championship for an individual because it's more of a team game. An individual can have only so much impact whenever you can only play one side of the ball. As far as if you take it as like, hey, for a team, maybe I'm not the best team in the league versus the best team in the league. It's easier for someone that's not the best team in the league to win an NFL championship because more times than not, the best team is going to win in the NBA in a best-of-7 series. In the NFL, anybody can win one game and, go on a hot streak and win the Super Bowl. So I think as far as the individual, it's harder to win one in the NFL. If you're a lesser team trying to win, I think it's easier in the NFL to win. So I guess it depends on what you're asking, from what angle, like which way is it easier?
No, it's just in general. What's easier to win, an NBA championship or NFL championship?
Right. In general, I would say NFL just because there's more that goes into it, more people you have to rely on to be good for you to win. And most times you're only playing one side of the ball. That's what I would say.
Oh, okay. Spoken like a true fucking rec league pickup day basketball player. Is you gonna go with basketball because you were never good at football?
He chose football. He said football.
Cool.
What?
No,
You ain't even listening.
So you went with football? You said football's harder?
Yes, I said football is harder in general. I said basketball is harder if you're the worst team to win because you can't. It's harder to win a best of 7 series when you're not the better team versus NFL. You can
Oh,
win
okay.
one
Uh,
game, but in general, I'd say
I don't
football is
take back
harder.
anything I said though. I don't take that back at all. I'm gonna leave that out there. I felt
I
like I
can't.
needed to put that in the universe.
Boy, can
I
you
needed to put that in the
can
universe
you
because that's just how I felt. But I'm going with time. It's harder in the NFL to win a championship than it is in the NBA because you could lose a game in the NBA and come back and correct those issues. Where you lose a game in the NFL, it's over with for you. It's one and done. So you literally have to go on a 3-game win streak or a 4-game win streak, and that's very tough in this league because once they have tape on you, it's really we're creatures of habit. We're gonna do the same thing. So now it's about play calling and how can you execute your plays better than this other person. Whereas you in the NBA, one guy can take over a game. Like literally, he can get hot at the right time and be blazing, and you could skate through. Like I don't see anybody beating the Brooklyn Nets in a best of 7 series. I don't see it. Do I see a team that can beat them if they were going 1-game series? Absolutely. But in a 7-game series with no injuries, oh, there's no way. And that was the same thing I thought about when the Warriors they had KD and everybody before everybody got hurt. There's nobody that I thought in my mind that could beat them in the best of 7. And I mean, I know time's gonna say, the 3-1 when they came back and won the LeBron, but
Well, not
you
with
know
KD. With KD, I don't think there's any team that's ever been formed that could beat that team in the best of
that
7.
that's what I'm saying. In the best of 7, it's just too easy. And that's the only reason why I say that it's harder in the NFL than it is in the NBA. Because you could have a cast of all-stars on the offense and the defense in the NFL, but if you come up and you just don't play well one day, then your season's over.
And y'all basically said everything for me. I don't really have to say much. I agree
Yeah.
with both of y'all. I like what you just said at the end, where you said you could have a team of all stars on offense and defense, and they could be a team of bubble players on the other, and they're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It could be one fumble loses you the game,
Yeah.
and you still could have played good. It wouldn't even matter. Turnover, that's all it takes. Like you said in basketball, one person can win a championship. One person can get you to a final, but one person's not going to get you to a Super Bowl. That's just not going to happen in
Yeah.
football. And one person's not going to get you to the playoffs most 99% of the time.
I
So
mean,
that
prime example is the Patriots that went 16-0. To me, that's the best team I've ever seen play NFL football, and they didn't win the Super Bowl. Because it wasn't just one catch, but that one catch. Who was it? David Tyree. Yeah, David Tyree, that hand of God to catch that one ball. Oh, and Eli Manning escaped the sack. Like that one play in a bubble lost the Super Bowl for the Patriots because if they get that
Right.
sack, it's over. You know what I'm saying?
well,
And
you could also say the Seahawks instead of handing the ball to Marshawn, they threw it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just that's how small the room for error is in football to where you can lose the Super Bowl even though you're clearly the better team. It's just every dog has their day type thing. That's why everybody loves the March Madness tournament because anybody
One and done.
one and done. Everybody can lose, and that's why I say I think it's actually harder for the lesser team to win in the NBA is because best of 7 more times than not the better team will win.
I agree. And even D alluded to it. In basketball, you can be down 3-1 and still come back. So you could still have a chance.
Right.
You can be down 40. You can be down 42 points in one game, come back the next game and beat the team. You're down 42 in the NFL. You're done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's over. But I do have one thing. I know, D, we never want to talk about LeBron. I don't like talking about. I just got one question for time. I do not want him to dive into it. I just want more of his response to that, not a dive in. I saw your post on Facebook about the play-in stuff. My only question is, because I know LeBron complained about the play-in because he's going to be in the play-in this year probably, and he was not last year. So do you think he still brings up the same thing? He might not have been asked a question. He might have been asked a question. We don't know. But even if he was asked a question, he was the 1 seed. Do you think he has the same feelings about the play-in if he didn't have the opportunity to be in it?
Right, and that's something I won't ever be able to know. But the whole issue I had with this problem was the care that was going on. You say you don't want me to dive into it, but I have to
just
dive
just
into
a mini dive. I know
right,
I've read your stuff.
dive,
I know
a mini dive. So essentially, what I said is this season and last season were two completely different animals. Last season,
no, it wasn't. It's the same season. It's the same fucking season.
No, last season got cut short unexpectedly. Not every team had played the same amount of games, and LeBron only brought up the people that were fighting for the 8th seed. He didn't bring up, these are the last two in, let them all fight it out. It was all people that were fighting for the 8th seed, whereas this year, the 7 and the 8th seed, after a full schedule, although it is shortened by 10 games, everyone knew they were playing 72 games this year. And they're playing a full schedule. Everyone plays the same amount of games.
72 games is not a full schedule.
I know, that's what I said. I said it's a full schedule known, even though it is shortened. I said that. But I need you to pay attention and stop playing on your phone. And LeBron,
I am paying attention. I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure you understand. You said that the difference is this is a full season, in your defense of why it makes sense.
A known full season, and even though it was shortened by 10 games, I said that.
Okay. So at 10 games, you get it. You get those 10 games back by the play-in.
And
so now back to work. That's a full season. So right. I don't understand what your argument is.
And it's the 7 and 8 seed that are in this play-in tournament. Whereas you have a 10 seed that could be 6 games behind, and because of this play-in tournament, they could lose. Now, I don't know if LeBron, if he's in the first seed and doesn't have to worry about playing in it, like I said, he probably doesn't get asked the question, but he hasn't been. I haven't heard any other quotes about his feelings on the tournament. I have seen where Luka and Mark Cuban said that they hated the idea already. So I'm guessing it's probably a general consensus amongst NBA players that they don't really like this idea. But we will never know because we were not in that situation exactly how it's handled. But all that to say is last year's situations, last year's LeBron quotes are completely different than what he said this year, and you're not going to be able to convince me otherwise.
Well, you wouldn't be able to convince you with anything, LeBron, because you just won't ever disagree with anything that goes against LeBron, which is fine. That's your prerogative. You're that brainwashed.
That is not true. That is not true. I do love Lebanon Reigns, though. Lebanon Reigns.
but look, the whole thing with that, like you said, it was a shortened season. This is a shortened season. A lot of players played actually more than 72 games last year. Some teams played 73, some played 74, some played 68. So, like, it's still not that much of a shortened season. So, I don't understand. I don't agree with even making a comment like, hey, it was fine last year. It's whatever. We'll do what we got to do this year versus saying somebody needs to be fired over it. I just didn't like the way the quote was. I think if he did it a different way, especially with, I know you say his stuff was different, but the way he said it last year, like, oh, they deserve an opportunity, and now he doesn't think people deserve an opportunity. He said that people should get fired over it. I just don't think the way it was said should have been done that way. That's all. I think he could have said it a lot better, even if he disagreed with it, versus saying this shit's whack or whatever, and we need whoever did it needs to be fired. And it's looking at it's LeBron. Everybody's going to criticize because of what he said last year. That's normal. You know that's going to happen. So I don't know.
Here's a question I raised to a friend of mine while we were smoking a cigar, and I want to get y'all's analysis. When it comes to the world 2020, 2021, can you name me 2 more polarizing people in today's world than Donald Trump and LeBron James?
Biden.
I don't think he reaches that level.
I would say he does, because he does for the right.
Right, but people don't post about him and talk about him like they do.
Tucker
Carlson could be another one.
Tucker Carlson.
But I don't think as many people. I don't think as many people know who Tucker Carlson is.
You said name 2 more. We're naming them.
I know, but I'm saying, that are the exact that like have that level of publicity and have that level of like star power.
Stephen A. Smith. I
don't think Jordan's not polarizing though to where people either love him or hate him. I'm talking about people. Like that
you talking about that the mood changes? Like, okay, right. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
right. And I'm saying that like move the needle, and you either really love them or you really hate them, and it's hard to find people that can have a middle ground.
Floyd Mayweather, Logan Paul.
I don't think they're the same.
Jake Paul.
I don't think they're the same level. I'm talking about they have the same level of stardom to where billions of people would know who they are. And it's just like, because I bet I could go in there and ask Cynthia, I bet she don't know who Jake Paul is, Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather.
I bet she does. I bet she knows who Jake Paul and Logan Paul are.
I don't think she does. But I know she knows who Trump and LeBron is.
I do have to say this though, because we didn't have a chance to talk about it, and I really want to talk about it now. It's gonna go a little bit serious, but I kind of want to know your thoughts and where you come from. So LeBron James, when the young lady was shot, when she had the knife in her hand, I think it was in Minnesota, I want to say, or in Minnesota. LeBron James was quick to tweet, "You're next." Hashtag accountability. Do you agree or do you disagree with people saying that he needed to apologize for the tweet that he then in turn took down? We didn't talk about this when it happened. So because we're talking about LeBron and how polarizing he is, I think this fit perfect. Right. I can tell you how I feel about it, but I kind of want to know what you feel about it, because you are the LeBron James fan time, because it's going to be probably completely different from Gary and I.
Okay, go ahead.
He was saying you go ahead. He wanted you to start.
I'll go first. I'll go first if you want me to. I don't see anything wrong with him tweeting that, because I took it as this. When he said accountability, it was just on the heels of Derek Chauvin's case in terms of him going to jail for wrongfully killing another unarmed black person. He didn't know all the case, but a lot of people took it as if he was saying that this cop was next to be killed, when clearly it wasn't nothing like that. It was him being convicted of killing an innocent person, hence him saying accountability. I don't know why he took the tweet down. I would have left it up and said, hey, look, I got the facts wrong. He's not going to jail because I could see what's going on in this, but it doesn't take away from the fact that where the tweet originated from, it originated from a good place. I mean, we've all had those tweets that either don't age well, or you trying to get the facts out, because if you're the first one to say something, then you get the most likes, or you get the conversation started. You see what I'm saying? So I don't see what LeBron James did was wrong, but there's a lot of people out there that want an apology from him, from an athlete, which I think was crazy, because now he's become the face of social injustice as it relates to everything and anything basketball. And that's something that I don't think Michael Jordan would have ever done at the time he did it, because he was selling sneakers. That's the only thing that I have to give LeBron James, is that's where he differs from.
Right, because Michael Jordan has a famous quote, from my understanding, that Republicans buy sneakers too. So my take with that is, I, even as the biggest LeBron fan on the podcast, obviously, I think that tweet was really out of pocket for him. First of all, I don't have any problem with his speaking his opinion on stuff that's going on in the world, or talking about what he feels or what he believes.
You can't say you don't care about it, and then you finna tell me you care right after you say that, though.
What?
You said, I don't care about him speaking his mind. He spoke his mind at the time he thought that was going on, and you're gonna tell me that you disagree with him speaking his mind.
Here's the difference. The difference is a situation like that, where you don't have all the facts and you don't know what's going on, and you rush to a judgment because of the amount of followers you have. It can lead to certain reactions and enticements. It's the same criticism I had for Trump, and that's why I paralleled them to each other. Trump was known for getting on Twitter and inciting his crowd to do certain things. And that's what pisses me off about everybody that got mad about LeBron with the "you're next." It's the exact crowd that Trump was firing up with all his tweets, because this is called what it is. It's the Trump-loving MAGA crowd that hates LeBron for his politics. And so anytime they get a chance to jump on LeBron for something with his politics, in this situation where you didn't hold the president accountable for his Twitter fingers, but you want to try to hold LeBron accountable for his Twitter fingers, when he's not even in close to the same position. Yes, he has a very big platform and he needs to be responsible with that platform, but it's nowhere near the same platform as being the president of the United States. And y'all want to hold him accountable, but not Trump accountable. And I'm not even like I'm a conservative. I'm not even on the like left wing side of the situation. But I can call out people for what it is. If you got to hold one accountable, you got to hold the other accountable. You can't pick and choose because you agree with this person and not this person. So that was the whole thing that frustrated me about that is, yes, I didn't agree with him saying that he should have waited. He's got too big a following, and knowing the tension that comes from that situation to just rush and jump to that was out of pocket for me. But if you were not one that held Trump responsible for stuff that he tweeted that caused, riots and stuff like that, and crashing the Capitol, whatever you want to call it, if you believe that was Trump or not. Like, if you didn't want to hold Trump accountable for that, you have no room to say anything to LeBron about his tweeting.
So I think both of y'all said it pretty well. I think it's very easily, everybody should be held accountable for whatever they put on social media, all that kind of stuff. And
are you serious, Gary?
What?
Regardless of how big your platform is, you should be responsible for what you put on social media?
If it incites something, yes. 100%. Like, and that's why when you're saying with the LeBron thing, like you brought up how he put accountability as the hashtag. Well, he wasn't accountable because he didn't know the facts at that time. Once he'd known the facts, if he would have known the facts of the situation and then put the same thing, then I'm fine with it. Because he got all the facts before he jumped to the conclusion. That's where you're holding yourself accountable of getting all the information before you jump to conclusions. And I think we do that as a society on everything. We want to, like you said, D, everybody wants to be the first to do it. So everybody wants to be the first to jump to conclusions and be like, I told you it was this. I knew it. It was me. I was the first one. But you don't have any of the facts on so many things. Everybody just jumps down. Oh, this is what it is. This is what it is. You have no idea what's going on, what's true, anything behind it until all the information's found out. And that's on everybody. Nobody is held accountable for anything, and they should be, because a lot of people just say and do things and tweet things and whatever without any proof or facts or knowing the story of any situation, and they just put it out there like it's true, and then it picks up. And when you have big followings like Trump, or you have a big following like LeBron, other people are going to think that's true. This is what it is. And then it skews the actual truth of what actually is. Now you have different sides all fighting with each other, and then you have like, oh, this guy says it's this. Nope, this is what it is, because the person they said this is what it is. Now they're all different opinions, and then we have more conflict. So I think that's the biggest thing, is people don't take the time to find out the truth before they just say something. And that's the most frustrating part, because people just want to jump out there and say something so they have their voice out there without knowing anything yet. And that's in every realm.
And this is, it kind of dives back into the topic that you brought up, Gary. And I mentioned this in my post on Facebook about the whole LeBron situation with the comments from last year versus this year. Like I said before, the same people that were giving LeBron crap about saying that, he was backing off of his words and, contradicting himself. That's the same people for the past 4 years that have hollered that Fox or that CNN is all about fake news, and that if you look at the context of what the president said when he said it, it's completely different. But when you put two quotes up next to each other, it looks bad, but that's not the context. Like, they've been hollering context at me for 4 years. And then when a situation like this pops up, they don't give a damn about context. They just see the quotes and they're going to go off of that, because, like I said, if it fits your bias, you're going to run with it. If it doesn't, you're going to go back and find the context and show you, no, hey, see, this is what's important, And so that's why I think there's so many parallels between Trump and LeBron, and it's crazy to think about.
Which that's the reason why I brought that up with the post, because I saw people saying context, all that kind of stuff, and I wanted to try and put a little bit of context on how I just think it needed to be said a different way, and the way he went about saying it was wrong. Not that he said it, just the way he went about and the way what the words he used for it is what I didn't think was right.
Right, and
I didn't see anything wrong with it at all. I have no problem with it, because he was basing it off of, it was one of those things where if it walked like a skunk, it looked like a skunk, then it got to be a skunk. Like, oh shit, it was a cat. My bad. I was wrong this time. That was on me. But all the other times I was right.
We're talking about two different things right now, I think, though.
Are you talking about the tweet? I think. Are you talking about the tweet?
You're talking about the tweet. I think we're talking about the press conference.
But he was getting back into our original point. But CD, but that's all well and good.
Bringing it full circle.
But when your platform is as big as LeBron's is, I just don't think you can be that reckless with a tweet like that because you don't know what that could cause. And that's all I'm saying. Because what's to say if somebody that's out there was like, yeah, I'm tired of it too, LeBron, and they go out and find that cop and shoot him or something, and they were like, oh well, LeBron, I was fired up because LeBron did this. Then the world's gonna be looking at LeBron like, damn, did you really, fire this man up and it wasn't even the situation you thought it was? I'm not saying that you got to hold LeBron accountable to that degree, but that's kind of like essentially what you're getting at. It's like you have such a big following, you have an ability to when you speak, people listen, and it's just to me it would be better if you were just more careful as far as knowing the situation, knowing the facts before you go out there and spray.
Because he has done that when asked about China. He's like, I don't know enough about the facts to talk about China situation. Right. So he's done it before where he held it.
So, but real quick, I text Cynthia while we've been doing this and asked her, do you know who Logan and Jake Paul are? She goes, I think Logan Paul got famous on Vine and Jake is his brother. I said, do you know what they're famous for now? She goes, no. I said, she goes, well, I know you said that Logan was on the wrestling show and that everyone hates him, but that's about it. So she has no clue that they're boxers right now. So that's why I'm getting at. Like, they're not big enough to where people know exactly who they are and what they do. Speaking of which, it brings me to this question, and it's a sad day because I know we've talked about boxing in the past as far as I think that Mayweather's the best, D'Angelo's wrong. But did y'all happen to see the press conference where Floyd Mayweather and Jake Paul are getting into it, and Jake Paul steals his hat and runs off like a little kid? Do you think that was old school Vince McMahon wrestling promo shoot, or was that real tension right there?
I don't think it was real. I think. Go ahead, D, if you want.
I don't think it was really. I was going to talk about just how everything even shaped out. And even how we even got to this point, because you said it on one of the podcasts, like, he needs to box a real guy to see if he's really a boxer, he's gonna box Mayweather. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not even going. Tom, you said something that absolutely floored me during this podcast. It's really come full circle. Why is boxing a great sport? Why is football a great sport? Why is soccer around the world a great sport? Why is any of these sports that are successful a sport? And here we are, we have conversation after conversation about women's basketball not making it, or women's something not making it, and fans not being entertained, or fans not being there. Fans is something that always like to me. If you have a fan base and you're an influencer, which Logan Paul and Jake Paul are, because Tom said it best, when you have a large platform, you have a responsibility. Well, Logan and Jake have a large platform, and they built it from the ground up. Not because they were great athletes, not because nobody knew them for their athletic prowess. Even if they were athletic enough to do anything, they wasn't good enough to make it on the circuit. But what they were good enough to do is make a name for themselves through Vine and through these social media things where people wanted to know more about them. They got this huge platform, and they go to Triller, and now they're hosting their own boxing promotions and stuff like that. And they're setting themselves up to make millions and millions and millions of dollars, whether they're good, whether they're okay, or whether they're bummy, because they can put seats in they can put asses in those seats because people want to see them, and they want to see them be or good, but either way, they want to see them enough where there's a supply and demand. That's how it's always been. Boxing wouldn't have been great had it not been a lot of people in the stands wanting to see it. Maybe it wasn't because it was great boxing. Maybe it was because of the ambiance. I know when Conor McGregor fought Mayweather, those tickets for that fight was stupid, and we know that Conor McGregor had no chance. But because it was two phenoms from different sports, and we followed them both, that had our ass in those seats, Gear. That for that reason, because we was like, oh, this is gonna be legendary. It'll never happen again. To now know that no, there's everybody doing crossover. There's YouTubers that are boxing right now, and there's ex-basketball players that are now basketball players, like Nate Robinson when he stepped in the ring. These YouTubers that have 100+ million people following them, that they know that they can fill the stands up of 50,000 or 100,000. That's what sports has always been. It hadn't been about the level of games. It hadn't been about the level of competition. It's always been about the pageantry behind it. That's what it's always been. Like, oh, I'm gonna go to this game. It could be a game that absolutely sucked, where it was a 6-9 game, and some people will come out of there saying that that's the best game that they ever saw. And then the people be like, dude, I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. They suck. Cleveland Browns fans, you was there, Gary, like they every year it has nothing to do with how good their team is or how bad their team is. It's just the loyalty. It's them coming back. They like the experience, the fan experience, being around other people, the fans, being around other people that have a genuinely interest in the same person that I'm watching, so we can talk. That's why we do wrestling. We don't do wrestling because it's great. We do wrestling because people can speak our language when we go sit in those stands, and we just like, oh yeah, that's dope. That's the adrenaline that it gives us, and this is the new wave of boxing, and it's gonna probably be the new wave of any other sport, whether it's softball, whether it's rapping, whether it's stuff like that, because that's what it's moving towards, is being that influential person or being an influence in the community, whether it be through TikTok, whether it be through any level of social media. That's where we're going. These shows that are coming out, like Cobra Kai started off on YouTube as something that they did, and now it's a huge phenomenon with Netflix. So it's just people showing their artistic ability and putting it on display. And once you put it on display and you capture that audience, then you free to do whatever it is you want to do with that audience and make hella money doing it. And that's why this is the future of sports as it relates to where we're going in the future.
So thank you to come into the D'Angelo Williams TED Talk.
Right? Hey, that's one of his famous soliloquies right there.
Yeah.
And I think you hit it on the nail. It's all about the entertainment.
You can't even argue with it. You can't argue with it.
Like, it's all about entertainment. Sports is always about, if it entertains you, people are going to watch it. It doesn't matter who it is. We can stand up here and say we hate it. I won't watch the Mayweather-Paul fight. I have no interest in it. It doesn't entertain me. I don't want to watch. I would love to I'll see the highlight of Mayweather knocking him out. I'm good with that. Exactly. Yeah, I'm not going to pay to watch it. Like, I'll see the highlight or something like that. I'm just not going to do that because it doesn't entertain me. It's the same thing with sports nowadays. Like, obviously, we played football forever. I'm not entertained watching NFL football anymore because I saw the business side of it, and it turned me off of it. So I don't watch as much NFL football. I don't watch as much sports because I'm not entertained by watching it. I'm more entertained by playing it or doing it versus actually watching it. So I'm not gonna pay for those type of things. Like you say, it's all about if your entertainment value, and I think that's what sports are doing. And I'll give it to the Paul brothers. They know exactly how to draw people in and how to bring in the money. That's power to them. I still don't like them. I don't think they're good people. I don't like their way they do things. It's not for me. But hey, if somebody else wants to pay for it, so be it. That's up to you. As long as you're entertained, that's all that matters. But I do. Only thing I disagree with is, like, because boxing is such a traditional old school sport, it was always about entertainment, but it was always about who was the baddest guy, who was going to win, we already know the outcome of most of these boxing matches that are actually, like, we know the outcome. So, like, there's no spectacle to be like, oh, who's going to win? We know Mayweather's going to win. There's no if, ands, but Mayweather's not taking a dive like Ben Askew might for $1 million. Mayweather's not tarnishing his 50-0 record. He's going to embarrass. He's going to play around like he did with Conor, and when it's time, he's going to knock him out like he did with Conor. That's just what he's going to do because he wants to make the money. Mayweather's all about money. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to do it. If he can make $50 million doing this, he's going to do it because why not? It's an easy victory. He knows they have no chance. So. I do think it is a step back for boxing if they keep highlighting these things just for the actual boxers out there, because they're not getting the recognition that they deserve that's getting taken from them by influencers. YouTubers that don't deserve that recognition.
I love it. I absolutely love it because it shifts the pendulum from the boxing associations to Triller and people just putting on fights and stuff on their own, because Jake Paul and Logan been doing this for a while and nobody's taking notice until Nate Robinson got knocked out and we was like, oh shit, he out here knocking out ex-basketball players. Like, whoa. But still, I understand what you're saying. I'm just talking about just getting recognition.
Yeah, that
was everywhere. The memes turned into stuff, and people were like, oh, okay, like, follow, repost. Later, now it's Mayweather versus Jake. We earned that. Or is it Logan? Is it Logan or is it Jake? It's Jake, right?
It doesn't matter. They're losing.
Yeah, it's one of them.
So Logan is the one fighting Mayweather. Jake is the one who knocked out Askew. So like.
Right. Yeah. So we know that they're not great boxers. We're not saying that they're great boxers, but they're good enough to capture the eye of Floyd Mayweather. Him saying it's an exhibition, because I watched the interview after, and he said, "Look, this is not a sanctioned fight, so this doesn't go against my record. This is an exhibition, and I'm getting an opportunity to make 50 million plus in an exhibition, Gary, in an exhibition. But not only are they making this amount of money." But after the pay-per-views start flowing in, Triller's going to make their money. And after Triller make their money and these fighters make their money, guess what? We're starting a new situation to where now, I saw Ocho Cinco tweet out, hey, I'm ready. Ocho Cinco's fighting on the undercard. He's in the undercard. Like, so there's guys that think that they have hands that play football that may have hands. I don't know. We've never taken them serious. This is the equivalent of an actor or a singer trying to cross over and do something else. Like John Cena, when he crossed over into acting, people was like, I don't know how smooth that's going to be. So we didn't take his acting serious. Same way with The Rock. We didn't take it serious when he first crossed over because we was like, yo, you a wrestler, stay in your lane. Well, now this is giving them an opportunity that, they've been in boxing for a while, and this is their opportunity to step up and say, hey, look, I've always been able to do this. Here's my time to shine. And they now have a platform to do that. And I salute them for it.
And I salute, like Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. That's Floyd Mayweather through and through. Yeah. And so, but here's the thing about, you just talked about the crossovers. If we learned anything as WWE fans for that Brawl for All, is that just because you might have a nice punch, you might be nice in bar fights, you might be able to knock people out cold that are big and bad, like old Bart Gunn. But when you get into a ring with a boxer, it is completely different than a bar fight. Boxing and like fighting are completely different things, and you will get worked by someone that is trained to box if you are not a boxer. It's because the technicality of boxing is just so crazy and beyond what you'll find with someone that's just in a regular street fight. So if you got hands, that's all well and good. But if you ain't trained to use those hands in a boxing match, you're going to get destroyed. And I think what they're doing right now is Mayweather's going to fight Logan Paul. I think Mayweather's going to destroy him. But then the narrative's going to turn to, well, Jake Paul's actually the boxer because he's the one that actually has been knocking people out.
And they banned him from the fight.
Right. And so they're going to double up on this money. We're going to get this money from the Logan Paul fight that we know he's going to win because we know he has no chance, even if he is a heavyweight compared to Floyd Mayweather. But technically, he's not even going to be able, like, people that were trained in boxing couldn't touch Mayweather. Logan Paul's not going to be able to touch Mayweather. I'm sorry. Not only that, so they're going to double up. They're going to have him fight Logan Paul, and then they're going to come full circle and fight Jake Paul. And I'm sure Jake Paul might have another fight in between where he finds somebody else that he can knock out. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just goes straight for the money. But it's all about making money, and you can't knock the hustle because if there's people that are willing to pay to watch, then go ahead. It's all, and you know what it is? It's all about creating FOMO these days, fear of missing out. Because if you're going to make an event, you want to talk about it. You want to be able to talk about it with your friends. You want to be able to talk about it with your boys when you grab a beer and you're like, shit, that fight about to go down. Who y'all got? It's just all about creating that. It's just, and that's like with these, that's what's going on with these cryptos. SafeMoon's such a really great investment, but like Doge, that's what's happening.
I hate how you always get back to SafeMoon. I hate how you always
I'm in with SafeMoon, so I can't knock it.
All right, well.
Boy, I tell you.
I had to get my safe.
Let's just end the damn podcast right there. Hold Hold up before you end it right there. I have to say this, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say it. Dude, this season of Serve the Story that's animated, that's going up this Thursday, is absolutely incredible. I cannot make this up. Tom, you did a great job on this. I remember listening to it back in the days and thought, man, like, oh, this is gonna be dope. But seeing it animated is unreal, bro. My kids watched it and they were tuned into it. So if you guys hadn't, seen any of our Serve the Story stuff, it's on our YouTube channel, on the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast on YouTube. Go to our channel, subscribe, and check this one out that's dropping this Friday. It is absolutely amazing. But you go ahead and end the time. I just had to say that. You did a great job on this one.
Like you said, D, if you have kids, you're going to be glued to the screen on this one because the kids are going to love it.
Right. It's the Love and Basketball episode that's coming up. I don't know if you guys, if you heard that Serve the Story, but it's just set up perfectly because it was set up as almost like a Disney movie already. So it just fits right in with the animations. And so it just brings it to the next level of, because it fits so well with the fact that it was already an animated concept. So definitely check it out. We'll be dropping that this wait, what's our new day? We drop it now? Saturday. Fridays. This Friday. We're dropping that this Friday. The new Serve the Story animation by our boy Nick will make it. And then we will be back next Monday with another episode of the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Ain't that right, D'Angelo? All the mothers. Happy mothers.
All the mothers. Gary may not feel like that, but we stand all the mothers. Happy late mothers. And like Tom would say, we out! We
out! You are now listening to the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast featuring D'Angelo Williams and Gary Barnage. You push play and they'll push the limits.